Space in fishing kayaks is at a premium and you need to be organized. I'm going to show you a way to get at your scents without having to dig around this week on Kayak Hacks. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, we cover kayak modifications, spin, and fly fishing. So poke that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. One of the first things I discovered in my Jackson here is that space is at a premium, especially when compared to my 14.5-foot native that I transitioned from to get into this boat. Now, I'm probably like you. I hate digging around for stuff I need all the time. I want it to be within arm's reach, quick, easy, so I can get back to fishing. And one of the things I use a lot is scent. And so I wanted to have a way to get at my scent without having to look down, dig underneath my seat, or reach and back to get at my tackle box. I wanted to be able to get at my scents from the side because I recognize that on each side of my seat I've got about this much of space that's usable that I'm not leveraging right now. So let me show you. Let's get the seat out. And here's the solution. Just like the tool rack that I'll link up in the description, I wanted the same arrangement here to be able to reach my scents and put them back in very easily. Here's the toolbar I just mentioned. I use it to keep my key tools, knife, scissors, and pliers. I've mounted it to the side of the kayak. You don't need to do that, and in the video that I'll link up in the description, I show a couple different ways to duplicate this. But anyway, let's move on to the Procure holder. Making this thing is pretty simple. The first step is to cut a piece of PVC trim the length you want it. I'd like to have this fit my 3 favorite flavors of Procure, and I think this will be just fine. Then pick the material to create the pockets that these will be in on the PVC. I just happen to have some Velcro strap hanging around, some thicker Velcro hanging around, and even some web material hanging around. You can use pretty much anything because there's not going to be any stress on these. The material will just form pockets. Then grab a stapler, and that's how we're going to attach it. I'm going to go ahead and use the thick Velcro because I just have a lot of it. And if you see these little marks here, that's where I screwed it up the first time because I forgot to leave room for the screws that are going to be on both ends. So kind of size those up and may as well hold the Velcro down at the same time, and then put your first set of staples on the other side of where the screw is going to be. So we'll start about right there. Then take your first bottle of Procure, stick it in. You don't want this real tight because you want this to be able to come in and out easily. Keep it lined up against the top. Staple, staple. Remember, all these have to do is go in and out, so you don't have to hold them from falling. Now, I'm all set. Looks like I can trim off just a little bit there to make this nice. You may want to use well nuts to attach this to your kayak. Since there's really not going to be any stress on this, I'm just going to go ahead and use some self-tapping screws. And what I want to do here is get the hole started to make it easier to put it on the side of my kayak. We're ready to attach this to the side of the kayak now, and the first thing to do is to size where you want it in relation to your seat. I wanted to leave plenty of room in here so my seat can still be adjusted backward and forward if I happen to lend my kayak to someone else whose legs are either longer or shorter than mine. Then I recognize that this unit comes out if I'm going to remove the kayak, so I don't want it all the way down. So I'm going to move it up a little bit, and I want to make sure it's out of the way of my steering control. So I think this is probably about the best place to stick it right here. Now I'm going to make a mark right there, and on that mark I'm going to draw the level line that'll help me orient this when I attach it to the boat. I recommend you use a regular screwdriver and not a powered screwdriver because you want this to be in firmly, but you don't want to strip it. Now you could use well nuts, as I mentioned before, right here, but I don't really think I need those. And a well nut requires that you make a bigger hole in the side of your boat, as opposed to the very small hole for this particular self-tapping screw. So it's all done, and since I didn't use well nuts and just put the small hole in there for the self-tapping screws, if I decide I don't like this, it's easy enough to repair the small hole in the side of the boat, and I'll link up a video of how to do that without any welding equipment in the description. So what do you guys think? I like being organized. I like being able to get at stuff easily. Do you have a better way to do this? If so, throw it in the comments below. Thanks.